Every word you speak contains within it the power to produce after its own kind. Just as a seed carries the blueprint of the tree, your words carry the blueprint of the experiences that will appear in your life. When you speak, you are not merely making sounds. You are planting living thoughts into the fertile soil of your subconscious mind. That soil does not argue, it does not question, it accepts what you plant and quietly begins to bring it into form. If you speak of lack, you plant the seed of lack, and soon you will see its fruit in your affairs. If you speak of abundance, you plant the seed of abundance, and life will find a way to produce circumstances that match your declaration. It does not matter if you speak in jest or in seriousness. The soil does not differentiate between careless and intentional planting. Every word is a seed that will grow in due time, whether you meant for it to or not. This is why it is essential to guard the words that pass your lips. They are not idle. They are creative forces. The moment you speak them, they are sown, and they begin their unseen work. A kind word spoken over yourself can set in motion a chain of events that transforms your reality. Just as a word of doubt can choke the growth of your blessings before they have a chance to appear. Think of the words you speak as living things. They carry within them energy, direction, and purpose. Just as a farmer chooses which seeds to plant based on the harvest he desires, you must choose your words with the same care. Speak health, and health begins to grow. Speak joy, and joy will take root. Speak peace, and peace will become the atmosphere you breathe. The garden of your life is cultivated daily by the seeds you plant with your tongue. If you plant with intention, patience, and faith, you will look around one day and realize that every good thing you see began with the smallest act. You spoke it into existence. The way you talk about yourself, your life, and your future is the clearest window into what you truly believe. You may hold certain ideas in your mind, but it is your words, both spoken aloud and whispered in the privacy of your own thoughts, that uncover what you accept as true. Even when you try to hide your doubts, they often slip through in the language you use. A person who believes deeply in their worth will speak differently than someone who feels undeserving, even if both recite the same sentences. Every phrase you speak carries the vibration of the belief behind it. If you speak with hesitation, with constant "I hope" or "maybe someday," you reveal an underlying uncertainty. If you speak with confidence, declaring "I am" and "it is done," you reveal the solidity of your inner conviction. The subconscious hears the tone, the certainty, the feeling beneath the words, and it responds not to empty repetition, but to the belief that supports them. Listen to the way you speak in casual conversation. When you talk about money, health, relationships, or opportunities, what patterns emerge? Do you find yourself saying "that never happens for me," or "I'm always unlucky"? These statements are not harmless. They are the verbal evidence of the beliefs you have allowed to settle in your mind. In time, life will mirror these beliefs, not because fate decreed it, but because your speech keeps affirming and reinforcing them. When your words change, your beliefs begin to shift, and when your beliefs shift, your world follows. You cannot speak blessings with conviction if you secretly doubt their possibility, but you can begin to shape belief by speaking as though it were already solid. Speech is both the mirror and the mold, reflecting what you believe now and shaping what you will believe tomorrow. Long before you take any action, before anyone else hears a word from your mouth, there is a constant dialogue happening within you. This silent conversation, the one you carry in your mind as you go about your day, is the true architect of your life. It is here, in the privacy of your thoughts, that you accept or reject ideas, that you encourage or discourage yourself, that you imagine what is possible or declare what is impossible. And what you continually rehearse in your inner world will eventually be expressed in your outer world. If your inner conversation is filled with worry, criticism, and doubt, it will quietly shape your decisions, your actions, and your energy in a way that attracts more of the same. If your inner dialogue is filled with faith, gratitude, and certainty, you will naturally move towards circumstances that match that mental atmosphere. The tone of your life is set by the tone of your thoughts. The most powerful transformations happen when you deliberately change what you say to yourself when no one is listening. By imagining conversations where you are already successful, already loved, already living the life you desire, you send a message to your deeper self that this is your reality. Over time, these repeated inner scenes feel so natural that the outer world has no choice but to rearrange itself to match them. Every time you replay a negative memory or predict failure in your mind, you are rehearsing for the life you don't want. Every time you speak to yourself in ways that affirm your worth, your power, and your blessings, you are rehearsing for the life you do want. The world around you is only the visible echo of what you have been saying within yourself all along. When you desire a change in your life, the most powerful position you can take is to speak and feel as though it has already been accomplished. This is not pretending or wishful thinking. It is aligning yourself with the finished state of what you want. Just as an architect sees the completed building before the first brick is laid, you can speak from the reality of your desire as if it already exists. The moment you do this, you give your words a creative authority that shapes the unseen toward your vision. Most people speak from their current circumstances, describing what is wrong or what is missing, and in doing so, they keep themselves bound to that reality. But when you declare the end from the beginning, you bypass what is and speak directly from what will be. You affirm health while still in recovery. You speak abundance while still paying off debts. You declare love while still feeling alone. The power lies in making the future your present through your words and feelings. When you speak in this way, you impress upon your subconscious mind that the result is already a fact. Your inner world then begins to adjust your thoughts, emotions, and actions to make that fact visible. You may not know how the path will unfold, but your certainty in the outcome draws the path to you. The more consistently you speak from the end, the more natural it becomes to think and act as though it is already yours. The outer world cannot help but conform to the inner declaration that you live in. By claiming the end from the start, you set in motion forces, opportunities, and connections that would remain invisible if you only spoke from your present lack. To declare the end from the beginning is to walk in the reality of your blessing before the world has caught up to your vision. Words alone, spoken without emotion, are like seeds left on a stone. They hold potential but cannot take root. It is the feeling behind the words that awakens their creative power. When you speak a blessing over yourself, the tone of your voice, the energy in your body, and the emotion in your heart infuse those words with life. Without feeling, words remain hollow sounds. With feeling, they become living forces that impress themselves upon your subconscious mind. The subconscious does not respond to logic or empty repetition. It responds to the emotional charge carried within your speech. You could repeat the most powerful affirmation 1,000 times, but if you speak it with doubt or indifference, it will produce little change. Yet a single declaration, spoken once with deep conviction and the sensation of its reality, can set powerful changes in motion. Feeling is the bridge between your words and the world they create. When you speak blessings with joy, gratitude, and certainty, you create a vivid inner picture that your mind accepts as truth. The stronger the feeling, the more quickly that truth begins to take form in your outer life. Even when circumstances contradict your words, feeling allows you to stand firm, because in that moment of speaking, the reality you are declaring feels more real than what you see. Every word you speak is a seed, but feeling is the water and sunlight that allow it to grow. Without feeling, the seed remains dormant. With feeling, it begins to push through the invisible and manifest into the visible. The life you experience will always mirror not just the words you speak, but the depth of feeling you attach to them. Every word you speak, whether aloud or in the quiet of your mind, is heard twice. Once by your conscious self, and once by the deeper self that accepts it as truth. When you speak blessings, you are not simply sending them into the air for someone else to hear. You are also planting them directly into your own awareness. You become the one who gives the instruction and the one who receives it. This dual role is why the language you use about yourself is so powerful. When you speak with love, encouragement, and certainty, you are training the listener within you to accept these qualities as your natural state. If you speak with criticism, fear, or limitation, the listener within accepts those as the boundaries of what is possible. Your deeper mind is always listening, always recording, and always shaping your life according to the tone and content of what it hears. It does not distinguish between a joke, a habit, or a heartfelt truth. It simply takes your words as direction. This means that careless self-talk can do as much harm as intentional negativity, because every phrase is an instruction to the self. Likewise, deliberate uplifting speech can reprogram years of doubt, because the more you speak blessings, the more your inner listener grows accustomed to them. Over time, these spoken truths feel natural, and once they feel natural, they begin to appear in your reality. Recognizing that you are both speaker and listener allows you to approach your words with reverence. Every sentence becomes a seed of influence, shaping how you see yourself and how life responds to you. In every moment, you are having a conversation with the most important audience you will ever address: yourself. The way you speak to yourself determines how you see yourself, and how you see yourself determines what you believe you can be, do, and have. Every blessing you speak over yourself begins to rewrite the mental picture you hold in your mind. If you have spent years speaking words of limitation, criticism, or doubt, your self-image will naturally shrink to fit those boundaries. But when you consistently speak blessings, words of worth, abundance, health, and possibility, you begin to stretch and expand that image into something greater. The self-permission is not fixed. It is shaped by repetition and reinforced by emotion. Each time you bless yourself with affirmations like, "I am worthy," "I am capable," or "I am favored," you place a new brushstroke on the canvas of your identity. At first, these blessings may feel unnatural, as though they belong to someone else. But with persistence, they begin to feel familiar. Over time, the old image fades, and the new one takes its place. Not because the world changed first, but because you changed how you saw yourself. When your self-picture transforms, your behavior follows. You no longer hesitate to pursue opportunities because you now see yourself as someone who deserves them. You no longer settle for less in relationships because you know your worth. Life begins to mirror this upgraded self-picture, drawing to you people, circumstances, and experiences that match your renewed sense of self. Blessings are not just positive words. They are blueprints for a new identity. As you speak them, you are not only describing a future version of yourself, you are creating it. The image you hold within becomes the life you live without. And blessings are the tools that carve that image into something beautiful, strong, and limitless. Everything you see around you is a reflection of the thoughts, feelings, and words you have been holding within. Life is like a mirror, returning to you the tone and substance of your inner state. Just as an echo repeats the sound that was first made, your circumstances repeat the patterns you have been affirming in your mind and speaking into existence. If you look closely at your life, you will see it is filled with the results of conversations you have had with yourself long before they appeared in physical form. When you carry an inner atmosphere of worry, frustration, or self-doubt, the echo that returns will be situations and events that match that energy. When you carry an inner atmosphere of gratitude, confidence, and expectancy, the echo will be opportunities, blessings, and peace. The outer world cannot create itself independently of you. It must take its cues from what you consistently project inwardly. Changing the echo begins with changing the sound. Instead of focusing on what is wrong or missing, you turn your attention to what you choose to create and speak from that place. If the echo you currently see displeases you, it is not the echo itself that needs to change. It is the original sound you are sending out through your inner speech and emotional state. The echo does not argue, resist, or alter your message. It simply returns it to you. This is why blaming outer circumstances is fruitless. They are only the mirror image of the voice you have been carrying within. The moment you begin speaking blessings, affirming abundance, and living inwardly in the reality you desire, you send out a new sound. In time, the echo must return in harmony with it. When you speak from desire, you acknowledge that what you want is separate from you, still out in the distance, something you must chase or hope to receive. This keeps you in a state of longing, reinforcing the idea that you do not yet have it. But when you speak from identity, you claim the thing as already yours, as part of who you are. Instead of saying, "I want to be successful," you say, "I am successful." Instead of "I wish I had peace," you declare, "I am at peace." Your words shift from chasing to being, and in that shift, you align yourself with the reality you seek. Identity has a creative force that desire alone cannot match. The subconscious mind accepts what is spoken as truth, especially when it is stated in the present tense and from a place of certainty. If you continue to speak from the standpoint of wanting, you keep telling your deeper self that the fulfillment is always in the future, never in the now. But if you consistently speak from the standpoint of already being, you give your mind a new self-definition to embody and express. Speaking from identity naturally changes how you think, feel, and act. If you declare, "I am healthy," you begin to carry yourself as a healthy person would, make choices aligned with health, and expect the evidence of health to appear. If you say, "I am abundant," you move through life with the confidence and generosity of one who already lives in abundance. Your actions become the physical proof of the identity you have claimed inwardly. By speaking from identity, you are not waiting for the world to give you permission to be what you desire. You are choosing to be it now. And once that identity takes root in your consciousness, the world must adjust to reflect it, because life can only mirror back who you have decided you are. The thoughts and words you have repeated for years carve deep grooves in your mind, shaping the way you see yourself and the world. Negative self-talk, limiting beliefs, and memories of failure form patterns that can feel unshakable, as if they are part of your identity. But just as water can wear down stone through constant flow, blessings spoken over yourself with persistence can gradually erode those old unwanted patterns until they lose all power. At first, speaking blessings may feel unnatural, even uncomfortable, because they conflict with the familiar voice of your past. The old patterns will resist, reminding you of what has been and why you can't change. But with each repeated blessing, spoken with intention and feeling, you weaken the authority of those voices. You begin to replace the rhythm of fear and doubt with the rhythm of faith and possibility. Persistence is the key. A single blessing, no matter how powerful, may not be enough to uproot years of negative conditioning. But daily, consistent blessings, like steady drops of water, create a new flow in the mind. Over time, this new flow becomes stronger than the old one, until the previous pattern fades into the background, no longer able to dictate your choices or limit your vision. As the old patterns dissolve, your self-image shifts, your expectations change, and your reality begins to match the new truths you have been affirming. What once felt like an unbreakable cycle becomes a distant memory, replaced by a new pattern of thought and speech that supports your growth. In this way, persistence in blessing yourself is not just an act of hope. It is the steady, unstoppable force that reshapes the entire direction of your life. Your words are not casual sounds drifting into the air. They are commands issued to life itself. When you choose to speak blessings over yourself, you are rewriting the story you live in, planting seeds that will grow into the reality you desire. Every blessing you declare shapes your self-image, aligns your inner conversation with the life you choose, and sends out a sound that the outer world must echo back. The shift may not be instant, but persistence turns blessings into unshakable truths. Dissolving the patterns that once held you captive, you have the power to speak from the identity you wish to embody, to claim the end from the beginning, and to breathe life into your words with feeling. The life you long for is not waiting in the distance. It begins the moment you open your mouth and speak it into existence.